It's been several months since we've actually paid off the property, so I don't really know what's going on.
I meet my real estate agent out here on Coyote Pass because Robyn, I think, was the last to give up on the dream. She's finally consented, yeah, let's go ahead and sell. I think they're worried about whether I'm going to be fair or not because divorce just takes away all trust.
Hi friends, it's Kody Brown Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, January 17th, 2025. Okay, we're here for the Coyote Pass drama. And I was doing a little bit more research into something and I noticed something very interesting while I was looking at property records for the brand new house that the Browns, Kody and Robyn, purchased. And it has to do with this revocable trust they formed in September of 2023. And it's a very interesting lineup and when this all plays out because they formed a trust 3 months after they paid off Coyote Pass. And at the exact same time, Janelle and Meri were discussing the possibility of suing Kody and Robyn. And at that time, the trust was set up. Kody and Robyn also began moving assets. There's so much here that makes a lot of sense to me now. And they've purchased the new home in this trust. And what is interesting about this trust is the type of trust that they set up. And it again makes clear that by September of 2023, even though Robyn's not accepting that they've moved on, and there's still all this conversation about, are they going to come back? We could still make this work. Kody and Robyn very, very much made clear legally what they were preparing for, their estate planning, and who was going to get their assets when they died. Yeah, that's wild. Okay. So Kody and Robyn were trying to hide money in a trust. Mind you, at no point in time ever had Kody ever once set up a trust ever for any of his properties. This is something that Jim Bob Duggar has done. He loves to use his trust and place properties in trust. And if you have a lot of properties, it's a great place to start. However, Kody had never done this. And it was Robyn that was obsessed with having an estate and an inheritance for her kids. So what did they do? In June of 2023, they paid off the property at Coyote Pass, those 2 lots. Okay. In September 2023, as Janelle and Meri are talking about suing them for that property, Kody sets up an inter vivos trust. Okay. And what that is according to Investopedia, an inter vivos trust is a fiduciary relationship used in estate planning created during the lifetime of the trustor, also known as a living trust. This trust has a duration that is determined at the time of the trust creation and can entail distribution of assets to the beneficiary during and after the trustor's lifestyle. The opposite of an inter vivos trust is a testamentary trust, which goes into effect upon the death of a trustor. So what does this trust do? It holds assets of a trustor. The benefit is that it helps avoid probate or the legal process of distributing the owner assets after or his or her death. And it can also be the trustee in an inter vivos trust during their lifetime or until the backup named of the trust is allowed to take over. So how it works is it's designed to hold assets for the beneficiaries. Now, Kody and Robyn are both the people that set up the trust, and they're also the beneficiaries. The difference between this type of trust and other types of trust is that the assets that are in a trust like this can still be used during their lifetime. So there are trusts where the assets are set up, but they're only there for once someone dies. This type of trust, they can still use the assets while they're still alive, but when they're dead, then it distributes the money to the listed beneficiaries of who's listed to take over the trust and then where the money goes. They set up a revocable trust, which it means that it allows them to change the trust by trust or grantor. And the trust can also be canceled by the trustor, and any income earned in the revocable trust is paid to the trustor. Following the death of the trustor, The income and assets are transferred to the beneficiaries of the trust. Revocable trusts are helpful since they're flexible during the lifetime and trustor, but also the distribution of assets from the trusters' estates. So the benefits of something like this, it helps avoid probate court. When you die, probate is lengthy. It can cost a lot of money. It can rack up costs for court fees. It's also that then another benefit is that because it's the way it's set up, the owner of the trust is the one that can control the assets. So they went through the process of basically setting up a plan for their retirement, for their death, and for how the assets will be held. And all of this was done while there was poking around by Janelle and Meri about the house that they owned that they sold, where both of them were telling the public that we gave them the money for the down payment. And they were fighting over the stake of what was remaining at Coyote Pass. And previously, the house that they owned that they sold was not held in a trust. It didn't have an outline of who the beneficiaries were. There weren't trusters, anything like that. So when they purchased this new home, they sold that house that was in dispute. They hold the house that they were fighting over the down payment. To this day, we don't know if the sale of that home paid back Meri and Janelle. And like I said earlier, is that if they did pay them back, they would have committed fraud because Kody did not tell the lender in any way, shape, or form that the money that he used for the down payment was a gift. He probably said it was a gift when it wasn't actually a gift because Janelle and Meri are saying it was a loan. Regardless, to avoid that and try to get away from that, they create the trust. Now, here's the thing with the trust. It's going to dictate who gets the assets upon the death of the people in this trust. And the beneficiaries are Kody and Robyn. That's how it's signed. So what they're saying is this house is ours and ours alone. Nobody else gets claim on it. And if Kody dies, Robyn gets the house. And if Robyn dies, Kody gets the house. The asset belongs to them and them alone. It excludes probate, which would potentially allow heirs of Kody to come for the assets. So, legally speaking, when you die, your next of kin, if you have a spouse, is your spouse, and they're the ones that take over the estate. In some states, if you don't have a trust or a will, you go to probate, and then that's how it's determined about how the money is distributed. Kody is making clear with this trust that when he dies, all of his money goes to Robyn and no one else. Remember how he said that all of this stuff that they were doing, the property and these big homes and this, doing this all was for the kids? Remember how he propositioned and said to McKelty that he wanted to buy a bigger house that had a guest house so that there would be a place for the kids? And he wanted to have all of this property so that there was an estate and an inheritance for the kids. And that's how it was sold to all of the women. Like, this will be what we can hand down to our children. And remember how when Kody and Robyn and Meri were sitting out at the property and Kody told Meri that she was going to get 2 acres and that Robyn and he were going to each get 4, regardless of the fact that Meri paid an equal amount. And the reason why was because Robyn said that he needed to have an estate. She needed to have an estate for her kids. Robyn was so hell-bent on this money being hers and nobody else's that after that split happens, after the property gets paid off, they make sure that all of the money, all of Kody's money will be hers when he dies and that she doesn't have to share it with anyone. And that they can add beneficiaries to this. Now, none of the kids are on it. So Aurora, Brianna, David are not on this. But because those are Robyn and Kody's children, they would be the next in line of beneficiaries to them as a couple. And then his children with the other wives. So he's not only screwing Janelle and Meri by selling that house and not giving them the money, but now the estate and his money that he promised would be money for the family, he's stealing and saying, no, this money is ours. It belongs to us and us alone. And this house belongs to us and us alone. You are not a part of the family. And that when we die, this house belongs to either Robyn or Kody, and therefore your children are not included. So all of these promises they made to the women to get them to move to Flagstaff, it's all just a freaking lie. And the fact that they set this up knowing that Janelle and Meri were considering suing them is absolutely wild to me. Check out this clip.
Did you like that attorney that I sent to you? I mean, we're all set to go.
I hate saying this, but it's not the most civil of relationships anymore. No. She thinks about screwing me over all the time. She's got nothing but, oh, God, how could I?
Time to be a cactus. Don't be gentle, be pokey.
I will do what I need to do. I'm not going to be walked over.
So this was all happening in the fall of 2023. Kody knows that they are on the path to lawyer up. Janelle has already told them. She told them she met with a lawyer. She told Kody that she met with a lawyer and she was going to get what was hers. Jen sends a lawyer to Meri, so she talks to a lawyer. And it's at this same time that Kody makes the decision to set up Whitestone Trust on September 1st of 2023. When he signed his mortgage documents in the fall of 2024, he and Robyn put down $420,000 on that house, and Whitestone Trust was named in the mortgage, meaning that it's probable that Kody and Robyn placed money in Whitestone Trust and used money from the trust in order to buy the house. And assets and income were also going into the trust, the trust being the location of their assets. Kody and Robyn made clear by September 1st of 2023 that they would no longer be sharing any money with anyone. They took steps to place money away from everyone. And despite the fact that they still owed money to Meri and to Janelle, and they still owe money to Christine for child support, they placed money in a trust to hide money so no one else could have their money. Now, a revocable trust that they set up is not lawsuit proof. And like I had stated before, when Christine filed her lawsuit for child support and child custody in Utah, a trust does not prevent her from placing a lien on the trust, seeking an injunction against the trust. And in this case, because it's a revocable trust, it means that, and a living trust, it means that Kody is the owner of the trust. It doesn't shield him from lawsuits. In the one hand, Kody thinks that putting his money in a trust can screw everyone away from his money. On the other hand, he doesn't understand that a revocable trust does not shield nor protect him from lawsuits. But what it does is it draws a line in the sand and it clearly tells everyone where his money goes upon his death. And if you are a child of Kody's that was born to him biologically and raised by him, and you find out that your stepmother, who tried to push you out of the family and has alienated you from your father, and your father has alienated you from his family himself, and you find out that all of these stories that he told you about the money, all the money that you were making for the show, and all of this, you were doing this for the benefit of the family, for the estate, for the inheritance, for the kids, is what he always said. And now you find out that it's his wife, his greedy wife, that's going to get the money. Robyn has always said that she did not care about her legal marriage. She said that this year. She said she did not care about her legal marriage. She never wanted to be legally married. Oh, really, Robyn? Then why do you have a trust? Why do you still have a legal marriage? Of course you care about that legal marriage, Robyn, because now guess who gets all the money? Not Meri, not Janelle, not Christine, not any of his 13 biological children that were born before you ever had a single biological child with him. No, it's the 3 adopted children and his 2 biological children with Robyn that are now the heirs to his estate. He's effectively disowned everyone but Robyn and her kids. You know what this reminds me of, and this is just how I'm going to end this video, because I grew up with a narcissist in my life. And I remember growing up, this is going to be hard to tell you guys. It's going to be so hard to tell you guys. Okay. I grew up all my life and my faith was used as a weapon. And they would always say things like, if you don't do this, grandma and grandpa will disown you. They'll shun you. That was what they would say. So if you don't get your first communion, if you don't go through confirmation, if you don't do this, she'll shun you. If you don't go back to church, she'll shun you. And then that same kind of threat about inheritance was used for me with my parents very similarly. Like, if you don't do this, you won't get anything from us when we die. And I always remembered thinking like that was always used like as a weapon, where it would like it was used to keep me in line, to obey what grandma and grandpa wanted, to obey what mom and dad wanted, to obey them, because they made me think that if I did all of these things and if I was a good girl, I would get this at the end. Not that as a child I even understood what that was. It was just always that threat that if I didn't do it, it would be taken from me. And I remember very clearly when my grandfather died in 2005, and then again when my grandmother died in, I don't even know, it was like not that long ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when she died. And there was no inheritance, nothing. And again, I didn't care. It wasn't something I thought about and I was like, oh, I'm going to get money from grandma and grandpa. But there was no inheritance. There was no money. There was nothing. It didn't matter. So that threat of we're going to disown you was just a threat, a manipulation to make me feel like if I didn't do something, I wouldn't get something. And the same thing with the inheritance with my biological parents. It was, well, we'll disown you. And then it was like several years ago, and one said to me, well, it doesn't really matter what we have for retirement. We're just going to spend all of our money so that when we die, there's nothing left. You're not going to get our inheritance. And I thought, well, I don't care. I don't need your money. Why do I want your money? And that's how I feel like Kody's kids might feel, like that emptiness of like, it was all a fucking lie. It was just used to manipulate, to keep me in line, to keep me loyal, to keep me obedient. This concept that I was so young and had no idea what it meant. And then when they died, I got nothing. And it didn't matter. I didn't want anything, but it just made me realize it was something they used to manipulate me. Just the same way Kody did to these women. He manipulated them to believe there would be this payoff that never came. And when that happens, it hurts. Because it doesn't matter the thing that you thought you were going to get, you don't get. It's the fact that you were lied to about this thing and you worked hard to stay good so that you wouldn't be shunned and you wouldn't lose that relationship, only to find out that you could have done whatever and there wasn't really a relationship to lose in the beginning, in the first place. Oh, you're going to be disowned? Oh, turns out I didn't get anything. Guess what? I could have just done more crap and been more disobedient. So what are your thoughts? I have a thought that that's how their family feels. Hurt, lied to, misled, gaslit. Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell to never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.